tussles continue to rock counties as Wajir and Nyandarua experience turbulent times. This as EACC continues to probe corruption scandals in the country involving at least one sitting governor and 3 former governors. We have these and more stories in our broadcast tonight on Newswatch. Good evening and welcome. I'm Tonny, Omondi, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's now begin with the top story tonight. The power tussle in Wajir County occasioned by the impeachment of Governor Mohamud Abdi has taken a fresh twist after both Abdi and his former deputy Ali Mukhtar, who was sworn in last Tuesday, claimed to be in charge of the county. The development comes as the High Court in Meru referred the petition that sought nullification of Abdi's impeachment to Chief Justice Martha Koome for the formation of a 3-judge bench for determination. Addressing the press, impeached Wajir Governor Mohammed Abdi maintained that he is still in charge of the county despite his ouster by the Senate and the subsequent swearing in of Mukhtar as governor. Our reporter Dolly Muregi has this report.
Questions? Yes.
It's now a push and pull law in Wajir County as leadership wrangles continue to play out. On Tuesday, a section of Wajir leaders refuted claims of political power play in the impeachment of Mohamud Abdi as governor of Wajir County. Addressing a press conference in Nairobi on Tuesday, the leaders said Abdi's removal from office was driven by alleged lack of development and services to the resident by ex-governor's administration.
There is no lacuna whatsoever, because the legal provisions and the constitutional mandate of the county assembly and the Senate has fully been discharged and reasonably executed by those entities, the Senate and the county assembly, in discharging their functions.
Abdi on his part accused some leaders in Wajir County who he said engineered his removal from office, decrying disobedience of court orders, given that the High Court had barred the county assembly and the Senate from impeaching him until a petition he had filed was heard and determined.
Anything done pursuant to the resolution of the Senate of 17th May 2021, including the purported swearing of the deputy governor as the governor of Wajir, has no effect.
The newly sworn-in Governor Mukhtar Ahmed said the former county administration, headed by Abdi, restrained development in the county, citing critical issues in the health sector that they claim the former governor neglected in totality, leading to suffering among patients.
People are interested in service delivery. We want services, provision of services, adequate services in terms of the mandate provided be discharged by the current and the third lead governor of Wajir, Mukhtar.
We have not been doing very well. You are aware, and I'm sure most of you in the 4th estate are aware of what has been happening in Wajir. So we also want to appeal to the people of Wajir to remain calm, support the new governor. As the leadership, as the political leaders, we are 100% united behind the new governor. Any other side source will have to wait its own time.
Last week, Meru High Court gave orders to stop the swearing in of the newly appointed Mukhtar Ahmed, stating that Mohamud Abdi shall continue to be in office until his petition is heard and determined.
My deputy governor, I know you as a humble person who has never shown any ill intentions all along. I reaffirm our relationship will remain the same as we continue to serve the greater people of Wajir as mandated under the law.
Abdi was impeached last Monday for gross violation of the constitution by not providing adequate health facilities. But even as leadership takes a new twist in Wajir, the impeached governor says he has no malice towards Mukhtar and reaffirms that their relationship will remain the same. Dolly Muregi for Hope TV, Newswatch.
Meanwhile, a showdown ensued outside the Nyandarua County Assembly buildings after hundreds of youths in support of embattled Speaker Ndegwa Wahome stormed the premises in what was seen as an attempted assembly takeover. The youths, who carried placards and chanted songs against Governor Francis Kimemia, engaged the police in running battles in the better part of Tuesday. The blocked MCAs had accompanied the Speaker, who resumed work after being reinstated by the High Court pending the hearing and determination of a case linked to the matter.
police were forced to use tear gas canisters and shoot in the air to disperse the rowdy youths who had arrived at the Nyandarua County Assembly buildings to block embattled Speaker Ndegwa Wahome from accessing office. Wahome had arrived alongside 5 other members of County Assembly allied to him as he forced his way into the premises, but the MCAs were denied access to the premises. Gatimu Ward MCA Kieru Wamboi, who was among those locked outside,
EACC walikuwa hapa wakafanya kazi yao ya kuchukua ile makaratasi walichukua, lakini governor akishikania na deputy speaker wakiwa na majority leader ambao ndio viongozi wa corruption katika Nyandarua wakanikataza kutumia polisi kuingia katika bunge.
He attributed the wars facing Speaker Wahome to Governor Kimemia, claiming that he was supporting the impeachments and protecting the MCAs allied to him.
Leo tunataka kuhakikisha ya kwamba we are in assembly doing our responsibility and doing our work.
Leshao Pondo Ward MCA Kamau Gatungu accused the police of using excessive force, adding that there was no justification for police presence in the assembly premises.
He has wanton destruction of the properties of Nyandarua. Right at the moment as we stand here, we are having 30 plus staff who Kimemia has fired. Would he write his or her daughter to be fired?
Today, this is another sad day for Nyandarua, where the rule of law is being thrown through the window. And unfortunately, the person who is pretending to be in charge of even security apparatus in this county.
Though the embattled speaker was let in the main gate, he never entered the assembly chambers, claiming some of the MCAs allied to Governor Kimemia were armed with an intention to harm him, and that he has a court order allowing him to access the assembly premises and conduct house business until a case against his impeachment is heard and determined. Reacting to the accusation of being armed and locking their colleagues outside, MCAs allied to Kimemia noted that Wahome's sentiments were out of self-denial and fears of facing rejection. Shamata Ward representative Ruben Gitau called on the courts to respect the MCA's decision to impeach Wahome, noting that he cannot resume the House business without quorum, sentiments that were echoed by nominated MCA Wanjiko Muhoho, who noted that they will not allow Wahome into the chambers.
They would wish to remind the public and also the courts, because it is very clear that without numbers in this House, you cannot lead the members of this House.
The former Speaker Ndegwa Wahome was allowed into the assembly, and he's clearly realized that hiyo court order sio court order itatutawala. Ameweza kuingia na akakuja, lakini ameingia tu na akazunguka. Yeye mwenyewe ni yeye tu anaweza elezea kwa nini hakuweza kuingia ndani ya bunge.
County Commissioner Benson Leparmorijo condemned the chaos, saying that the youth were goons hired to present some people's political interests.
We are being told it's like they were escorting the speaker, Wahome Ndegwa, but in actual sense we do not know who they are, because some of them do not even look like they are locals from this place. So these are goons who probably have been hired for unknown purposes.
Away from that, a total of 669 Kenyans have applied for the 4 vacant positions at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, seeking commissioner's post. The electoral body in local dailies published the names of applicants as required by law after the application period ended on 17th of this month. As Dickens Levanda tells us, prominent names are among the 699 applicants seeking to fill vacant positions at the IEBC.
IEBC Communications Manager and Media Council of Kenya Board Member Tabitha Mutemi, former National Lands Commission NLC Vice Chairperson Abigail Mbagaya, Chief Justice Candidate Aliciano, and former National Super Alliance NASA Coalition CEO Norman Magaya are among the 669 candidates who have been shortlisted for the 4 IEBC commissioners' vacancies. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC officially published the names and academic qualifications of the 669 persons in the local national dailies, revealing the applicants' institutions of higher learning, their ID numbers, and their country of origin. By the set of the deadline of May 17, 2021, more than 700 applicants had applied for the job, according to the IBC Commissioner Selection Panel, which is chaired by Dr. Elizabeth Muli, but the number was trimmed to 669 after the agency found out that some applicants had sent multiple applications.
At the close of the application period, over 700 applications were received for the 4 vacancies in the position of member of IBC. Noting that applicants were at liberty to send applications by postal or courier services, to deliver applications physically at the office of the Secretariat of the Selection Panel located at County Hall, Parliament buildings, or to send their applications electronically through email, the Selection Panel shall now proceed to collate the applications received.
The 4 positions fell vacant following the resignation of IBC Vice Chairperson Connie Ngatha Maina and Commissioners Margaret Mwachanya and Paul Kurugat in 2018, with Commissioner Rosalina Kombe resigning and leaving for the United States of America prior to the repeat of the 2017 presidential election, citing issues of safety and interference when executing her mandate as a commissioner. The resignation of the 4 commissioners left IBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati, Commissioners Abdi Gule and Boya Mulu in office, a number that has tied the Commission's hands in executing its mandate. When the selection panel was sworn into office on April 28, 2021, the chairperson said the interviews for the shortlisted candidates were to be conducted for 5 days from May 31st to June 4th, and later forward the names of successful candidates to President Uhuru Kenyatta by June 9, 2021.
Pursuant to the provisions of paragraph 3.1 of the first schedule to the IBC Act 2021, the selection panel shall publish the names of all the applicants whose applications were received by the close of the application period, together with their qualifications, in the Kenya Gazette, in 2 newspapers of national circulation, and on the website of the Parliamentary Service Commission.
Dickens Ravanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
The Jubilee Party has unveiled Karanja Kariri and Joseph Githinji, respectively, as the candidates in the Kiambaa parliamentary seat and Muguga ward by-elections slated for July 15th. Jubilee Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju, in a statement on Tuesday, stated that the party conducted interviews instead of nominations pursuant to Article 11 of the party constitution. Tuju noted the decision was reached following a review by the Jubilee Party National Management Committee of all the applications which were submitted to the County Elections Board after the party conducted interviews for 7 candidates who sought the party's ticket for the Kiambaa by-election and further interviewed 17 other candidates who sought to contest the Muguga ward by-election. The unveiling of the 2 candidates comes days after the United Democratic Alliance Party, which is associated with Deputy President William Ruto, announced that it will field John Njuguna Wanjiku and Kamau Ndhumbi for Kiambaa and Muguga by-election, respectively, after Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria's People's Empowerment Party withdrew its candidature to support UDA. The Kiambaa and Muguga seats fell vacant following the demise of former MP Paul Koinange and MCA Eliud Ngugi in March this year. And First Lady Margaret Kenyatta has called for sustained efforts to end fistula, saying any woman suffering from the condition should be treated promptly and reintegrated into the society. Pledging her continued support to the global campaign to end fistula, the First Lady emphasized the need to step up measures aimed at ensuring new cases of fistula are prevented. The First Lady spoke on Tuesday at Kenyatta National Hospital in Nairobi, where she visited patients who benefited from free fistula surgeries as part of activities to commemorate the International Day to End Obstetric Fistula. Alice Diana tells us more.
First Lady Margaret Kenyatta has committed to continue lending her voice and support for increased investment to restore the dignity of women and girls. Speaking at Kenyatta National Hospital in Nairobi, where she visited patients who benefited from free fistula surgeries as part of activities to commemorate the International Day to End Obstetric Fistula, the First Lady stated that collectively we can create awareness, lobby for and put in place supportive measures to strengthen the capacity of our health systems to offer more treatment and surgical repairs as well as training of more doctors. The surgeries were performed during the ongoing fistula camp organized by KNH that started on 17th May, running up to May 28th.
This morning I was deeply touched by the opportunity to meet women who have recently undergone surgical repairs. I've met women who have come all the way from Kitui, Baringo, Laikipia, Nakuru, Marsabit, and Homa Bay.
The First Lady said the theme of this year's International Day to End Obstetric Fistula, which is Women's Rights are Human Rights and Fistula Now, is a reminder that many injustices still face women and girls today. She said the theme compels governments and people everywhere to listen and reflect on the injustices that women around the world have continued to face.
We are reminded that women are prime targets of forms of stigma and abuse, and that we never fully gain our dignity until our collective rights are respected and protected.
While applauding the National Hospital Insurance Fund for including obstetric fistula in its health packages, the First Lady noted that there is still a backlog of nearly 1,000 cases of women living with fistula awaiting surgery every year. The First Lady also acknowledged brave women like fistula ambassador Jane Muthoni, who spoke against the burden she experienced suffering from fistula for 13 years before she was treated. At the same time, the First Lady decried rising cases of teenage pregnancies and gender violence, saying the two vices are eroding gains made towards ending obstetric fistula.
Today, we speak on behalf of women who have suffered endless physical pain, humiliation, whilst giving birth. Some of them have also been victims of sexual assault. Many of them have endured years of emotional and psychological abuse.
Other speakers included Health Principal Secretary Susan Mochache, KNH Chairman George Ouko, and UNFPA Country Representative Dr. Ademola Olajide, among others, who commended First Lady Margaret Kenyatta for her leading role in the promotion of maternal and child health through the Beyond Zero initiative.
Your Excellency, when we talk about women issues to do with health, you come to the mind of every Kenyan woman. You have brought hope, you have brought encouragement, and you have brought some warmth around issues to do with women's rights, and now everyone recognizing them as human rights.
This condition is everywhere in the country. Every week a woman develops this. We don't want them to wait for 13 years like our ambassador or the lady in Kisii, 33 years. We would like them to have the benefit of the ladies you met here, Madam First Lady, that within days of that condition presenting itself clinically, they actually are operated on and repaired, and they can go home with dignity.
For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Alice Diana.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, is probing the alleged illegal acquisition of properties worth a reported 11.5 billion shillings by 3 former governors and one who is currently in office. The 4 are reportedly Samburu Governor Moses Lenol Kunal and former county bosses Evans Kidero of Nairobi, Mike Sonko Nairobi, as well as Ferdinand Waitito of Kiambu. This is according to EACC Chairman Eliud Obukala, who spoke on Tuesday when he appeared before the Senate Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. Obukala also revealed that the commission had seized assets worth 25 billion shillings stolen from the public over the last 5 years. At the same time, Obukala said the commission has probed 1,000 corruption cases, with 269 of them being prosecuted in courts. He, however, cited budgetary constraints, politicization of the fight against graft, and unethical conduct, besides a weak legal framework, as some of the barriers hindering the commission's success. Let's now look at the COVID-19 statistics. The country has recorded 382 new COVID-19 cases from a sample size of 3,719 tested in the last 24 hours, with the country's positivity rate standing at 10.3%. The total number of confirmed cases in Kenya now stands at 168,000, 925. Of the new cases, 366 are Kenyans, while 16 are foreigners. 1,134 patients have recovered from the disease, with 875 coming from the home-based care program, while 259 have been discharged from various hospitals across the country. The total number of recoveries now stands at 115,813. 14 patients have succumbed to the virus, raising the number of fatalities to 3,087. In terms of admissions, 1,079 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities, while 4,756 patients are on home-based isolation and care. 113 patients are in the ICU, 24 of whom are on ventilatory support and 65 on supplemental oxygen. With that, let's now take a short break on News Watch. We'll be back with more stories making headlines in the country. To stay with Hope TV. Welcome back to News Watch. Let's look at what is happening in the counties. A section of members of the Taita Taveta County Assembly has proposed plans by Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala to privatize national parks in the country. Led by Christopher Mwambingu, the MCAs lamented that Kenyans have not been consulted and further vowed to file a petition in the National Assembly to stop the consideration and implementation of the proposal.
Mbuga ni mali ya kitaifa ama national heritage. How do you even dare or imagine privatizing national parks and game reserves without involving the people of Kenya? Article 1 of the Constitution, sovereignty of the people belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised directly or through democratically elected leaders. Aliengage wananchi lini kulingana na Article 1? Ama aliketi na wabunge lini? Ama na serikali za county lini? Ama serikali ya kitaifa lini? Kwa cabinet wakaamua kwamba hayo ndio mambo wanafanya. Kwa hivyo tuko na shida zetu za kutosha na mambo ya park na faida. Sasa hatutaki tena tuongezee pressure, na hii tuta tutakaa na wananchi wetu mobilize, tukatae, tutafanya maandamano ya amani. Na hivi mimi nataka leo ninaanza kuandika petition nipeleke bunge la kitaifa kukemea na kuzuia hayo mambo ya kufanya privatization bila kuhusisha mwananchi na kumuona vile mwananchi ata benefit. Mali ya umma ibaki ni mali ya umma.
Privatization, for me, one thing I know is that it is a good thing. It is a good thing because again we kinda get rid of what we call monopoly, you know, because once you know, this thing is privatized, then it gives a big leeway in terms of also involving the community and making sure that you know, both you know, the private sector and the community are able at least to enjoy and be able to come to the ground and speak. I mean, how do they empower the locals? How do they empower also the county government? There are so many things that needs to be done. I think this is a subject that needs to be looked at, but I'm happy of the CS what he said.
Still in Taveta County, parents have expressed concern over a fourth wave of COVID-19 that the Ministry of Health says is expected by July this year. The parents are urging the government to ensure all the Ministry of Health guidelines are implemented to protect learners, including closure of schools, so as to prevent the spread of the virus.
Kama kufikia mwezi wa 7 corona itakuwa imepanda, ni afadhali wangefunga hizo shule. Manake ukiangalia kama tuko na watoto wa nasari, huyo mtoto hakuna venye anaweza jilinda mwenyewe akiwa pale shule. Manake ukiangalia kama saa hii mtoto wangu ameenda shule, unaona? Jiona anarudi na maski nyingine. Unaona? Afadhali mtoto akiwa nyumbani anaweza mlinda mimi mwenyewe. Kusimamisha shule hata kama ni mwaka mmoja mimi sioni tatizo. Unaona? Manake haja yangu ni mtoto, usalama wa mtoto wangu. Unaona? Maka vile nimekuambia, narudia. Mtoto anachukua barakoa nje, kama si barakoa zinatupa ovyo ovyo. Mtoto anaenda nasari, anarudi na barakoa nyingine. Hujui kama ni mwanafunzi mwenzake ama amechukua chini akavaa. Unaona? Kama corona itakuwa imepanda na hawana mbinu nyingine, unaona, ya kutuangalia watoto wetu, watoto wetu nyumbani.
Kulingana na maisha vile yalivyo, kuna yule mwananchi wa juu na wa chini. Nikimaanisha hivyo, kuna hiyo social status. Kuna shule ambazo despite congestion, zingine hata hazina madarasa ya kutosha, hakuna maji hizo areas. So kama serikali, kabla shule zifunguliwe, they should take that initiative or make sure at least the highest percentage of our schools, mahali watoto wanasoma, kuna maji ya kutosha. That is something they can provide.
Shule, akiamua kama watoto wanaendelea shule, angalia venye walimu ako serious na watoto. Mimi mtoto wangu ikitoka kwangu, mimi niko peke yangu nyumbani. Akitoka nyumbani lazima nimpe barakoa. Akifika pale akana barakoa. Darasa zidi kujengwa, watoto wako kidogo kidogo. Unaona? Wako expensive, ukikuwa kama kiti iko mbali ndio watoto kama wawili kwa kiti. Na ule mwalimu uko pale pia make sure amevaa barakoa na watoto wavae barakoa.
Traders in the Mombasa Makinon market, popularly known as Marikiti, have clashed with a private developer for blocking access to the business premises without prior notice. The rowdy traders were calmed by police officers who arrived at the scene and ordered the private developer to suspend the construction till due diligence is done. The Marikiti Mombasa Traders Association MTTA members complained of impromptu inconveniences by an ongoing construction of a two-storied building which they said was illegal. The association's Secretary General Abdirahman Hussain said hundreds of their members have been affected by construction activities.
Tuliona tu wale wenye kazi wasema tokeni vyombo yetu nusu tunamaga nusu tunaingiza. Kutoka Jumapili. Leo Jumatatu ama Jumanne? Jumanne leo. Leo Jumanne. Jumatatu tukija hakuna milango ya kuingia. Jumanne leo mpaka sasa hatukusali wala hatukukula. Watu ni maskini, tunatafuta shilingi lakini hiyo shilingi hatukuona. Hatufanyi kazi. Hakuna kazi, hakuna nini, watu yuko na watoto, watu yuko maskini. Mimi na wewe na fimba yangu walikuwa wanafanya kazi, hata fimba yangu hakufanya kazi. Mnaona? Sasa tuko na taabu kubwa sana na hatuna haki, nafikiri. Sijui haki yetu, tunataka haki yetu. Tunaumia.
We have over 800 members, but currently around 150 of our members have been inconvenienced by what you guys can see here. This is the impunity of the highest order. The county government has failed to protect us. The national government, especially NEMA, has failed to consult us as stakeholders in what is going on here. Tumeamka leo asubuhi, tumepata magari yamekuwa hapa, construction imekuwa, yani barabara imekuwa active construction zone. Yani tunataka serikali ichukue hatua. At least sahi 150 members wetu wenye maduka madogo, wenye mastall, wote wamekuwa affected. Leo wamefunga biashara zao. Hapa kumekuwa na vita, wamama wamepigana. Yani tumejaribu kuinvolve pia county government, tumewaita, lakini imebidi tumechukua sheria mkononi mwetu, tukazima sisi wenyewe hapa.
And in Kwale, residents have been urged to embrace reading and writing their mother tongue as a way of promoting education standards through culture. This was revealed during the launch of Digo Language Bible following a translation exercise that took 30 years, according to the National Director of the Bible Translation and Literacy, BTL, Reverend Peter Manguti, in Kwale.
Tunataka culture ikuwe preserved. Na culture inaanzia kwa lugha ya mama. Ndio maana Nelson Mandela pale nyuma amesema, wakati unazungumza na mtu kwa lugha anayoielewa, yeye anaweza kuelewa kwa sababu inaingia kwa kichwa chake. Lakini wakati unapozungumza naye kwa lugha ya mama, yeye ataweza kuelewa zaidi kwa sababu kwanza maneno yale yanaingia kwa moyo wake.
Huwa tunasoma kile Kiingereza ili tu tupate makaratasi ama zile certificates. Lakini leo utakuta ya kwamba kuna ile anxiety, ule mhemko wa kutaka kuangalia, nasikia kuna Biblia, kuna watu lugha imeandikwa Kiduruma, Kidigo kimeandikwa. Sasa hiyo mimi kwangu ni motisha tosha ya kwamba nina uhakika ya kwamba baada ya muda fulani hiyo itapatia motisha hawa watu haswa vijana waweze kusoma zaidi.
For the 34 years of Bible translation katika hapa Ndigo imetuchukua shilingi milioni 120, 120 million shillings to complete this work. Na kama vile nilisema kuna milioni nyingine 3.5 ambayo imetumika kwa ajili ya kuchapisha. I pray that every Ndigo person mutaona kwamba hii ni kitabu cha muhimu sana, mupate kukipokea. And the one thing that I know ni kwamba zile tamaduni ambazo zimekuwa zikiwarudisha nyuma zitaondoka, kwa sababu kama vile chairman amesema, mwangaza umekuja. Pokeeni mwangaza nyumbani, pokeeni mwangaza makanisani, pokeeni mwangaza katika community, ipate kuondoa tamaduni ambazo zinaweza kuwarudisha nyuma.
Let's look at what is happening internationally. The nation of Mali is in turmoil after the army detained its leaders, including the president and the prime minister, sparking fears of a coup in just less than a year after the last military takeover in the West African nation. The newest crisis to hit the vast country where jihadists control large swaths of territory has now sparked widespread international condemnation. Meanwhile, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has demanded the immediate release of Mali President Bandar and Prime Minister Mokhtar Owan, who are in detention. According to reports, the two were driven by soldiers to a military camp near the capital, Bamako. The two have been leading an interim government which took power after a military coup last August and have been detained just hours after a government reshuffle in which 2 army officers who took part in the coup were replaced. Defense Minister Suleiman Dokor has also reportedly been detained. The African Union, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, the EU and the US have also condemned the arrests, saying Mali's top politicians must be released without any preconditions. And the U.S. Secretary of State has said that the U.S. will help rebuild Gaza as part of efforts to consolidate the ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militant groups. After meeting Israel's Prime Minister, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said it was necessary to tackle the grave humanitarian situation to prevent a return to violence. He, however, added that the U.S. would ensure the militant group Hamas, which controls Gaza, did not benefit. Blinken also reiterated U.S. support for Israel's right to defend itself. More than 250 people were killed, the vast majority of them in Gaza, in 11 days of fierce fighting.
We need to work together to expand normalization between Israel and Arab and the Muslim world, and deepen the peace treaties that we already have. We discussed also how to improve the lives and the conditions of the Palestinians, the humanitarian conditions in Gaza, as well as building economic growth for Judea, Samaria, the West Bank, with international cooperation and participation.
Let's take another short break on News Watch. Business and sports news is coming up next. Welcome back to Newswatch. Kenya is positioning farm tours as one of the experiences to be sampled by both local and international travelers in line with the strategy to diversify its tourism products and experiences. Tourism marketing agency Kenya Tourism Board (KTB) has already rolled out promotional programs to position the country for agri-tourism, with tea, flowers and coffee leading the pack of farm tours to be showcased. On Tuesday, KTB intensified its campaign at the launch of farm tours in Gatura Greens Tea Farm in Murang'a County, with KTB Company Secretary Alan Njoroge calling on farm owners and producers to work towards packaging tours, which will be a beneficial tourism venture for them and the traveller.
We realized there were so many little gems that the family was doing that people just genuinely did not have access to, right? And so we decided to make an experience out of it because there's so many little fun points that make them interesting and fun and a good day trip for both the family and with a group of friends. And so that's basically how the birth of Gatura Green started.
We are at the beginning of our 3-month long campaign where we are spotlighting agri-tourism, especially to our domestic market, where we are showing some of the experiences that the domestic market, as well as our international visitors, can experience by visiting farms such as this, where they are able to see for themselves how the tea is grown, how it is processed, and how it finally lands on in their dining rooms at home. For us, this is part of our long-term strategy for the destination. As you know, we are very well known for beach and safari, but we know that Magical Kenya offers much more than that. We have a wide array of experiences that our visitors can experience, both domestic and international. And one of them, which for now is still a very niche area, is agri-tourism. So we, as part of our long-term strategy, have begun to work and partner with farms such as Gatura Greens, as well as other farms that we will be visiting over the next couple of days, to be able to bring more understanding amongst the consumers of the availability of this product, because I think the reason that it has remained relatively unknown is because not many people do know that just within their localities, half an hour, 1 hour drive from their homes in Nairobi, they are able to come and undertake tourism activities like the ones we've been told here.
An international consortium named the Global Partnership for Ethiopia has been awarded a license to operate telecom services in Ethiopia. The Impact Investment Consortium aspires to support Ethiopia's digital transformation and positively enhance the lives of its citizens. The partners in the consortium are led by Safaricom PLC, a partner member of the Vodafone Group, and will establish a new operating company in Ethiopia, which aims to start providing telecommunication services from 2022. In addition to Safaricom, the partnership includes the Vodacom Group, Vodafone Group, Sumitomo Corporation, one of the largest international trading and business investment companies, and CDC Group, the UK's development finance institution and impact investor.
Through it, and our consortium, which is led by Safaricom and comprises Vodacom Group, Vodafone, Sumitomo Corporation from Japan, and also CDC from the UK, has won one of the 2 licenses that was available for auction, and therefore we received a formal notification yesterday that is the case. We've already informed the Capital Markets Authority, and we've been given the go-ahead to communicate formally as a listed business. The next steps will be that, of course, we've been designated provisional license holder. We'll go through the process of paying for the license fee, and then after that, we'll go into the signing process for the license. And then we will, as a result of the signing completion of that process, set up an operating company in Ethiopia so that we can start the process of mobilizing to set up a business. And we hope that business will start operating from 2022.
President Uhuru Kenyatta said the new Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD, holds immense potential to transform African economies. The president said NEPAD, which was adopted in 2002 by the African Union as a continental socio-economic development framework, shall be used to consolidate expertise and other resources needed to uplift Africa's economy. The president spoke Tuesday evening at State House, Nairobi, during the 38th session of the NEPAD Heads of State and Government Orientation Committee held virtually. At the same time, President Kenyatta rallied the continent to continue working together in tackling COVID-19, saying the pandemic had taught Africa the importance of unity.
Chairperson, I would only like to highlight a few issues which I think we need to take forward. First is the recognition of NEPAD as an important homegrown tool for the African continent to help mobilize ourselves and to mobilize resources and actions based on African priorities. Mine is only just to emphasize the need for African countries to work much closer together to develop local capacity for us to be able to handle future pandemics and future crises with the ability to know that we have the capacity to be able to handle and to manage this ourselves. So even as we move towards ensuring that our people are vaccinated, we need to be able to know that we have developed the capacity locally.
To some sports news now, as organizers embark on their final phase of the 2021 FIA WRC Safari Rally, Kenya champion Baldev Chaga has taken time to extol the nature of situation at his Cabra's Sugar Racing stable. Chaga is excited with the manner in which his Cabra's stablemates have worked with the car and how they've gotten everything pointing in the right direction. And 10-man Nairobi City Stars whipped 10-man Sofapaka FC 3-0 in a drama-packed FKF Premier League fixture at the Ruraka grounds in Nairobi. Veteran midfielder Peter Pinchez Opio, Davis Agesa and Salim Abdallah were on target for the Sanjin Allergic side. Elsewhere, outgoing Bayern Munich coach Hansi Flick will succeed his former boss Joachim Löw in Germany and the Germany dugout after Euro 2020. Flick, who will in turn be replaced by Julian Nagelsmann at Bayern Munich, was one of Löw's assistants during their victorious World Cup campaign in 2014. Joseph Maingi brings us the sports update.
Kenya National Rally Champions Baldev Chaga is excited with the manner in which his Cabra Sugar Racing stablemates have fine-tuned his Mitsubishi Evolution contraption. Baldev is also glad that his team mechanic have gotten everything pointing in the right direction within just a month left for the start of the World Rally Championship Safari Rally that is set for June the 24th to the 27th. The multiple Kenyan Safari champions Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution X is in an amazing shape and fully compliant with the requisite standard set by the world governing body FIA.
It's actually very exciting with all the hype building up. The WRC cars obviously are a different league altogether from what we have in Kenya, being our Evos or the Polo R5s or any other R5 category cars, which are actually the closest to a WRC. But WRC is actually, you can say it's like Premier League. They have the best equipment, best drivers, world-class everything. So competing against them is going to be very difficult, very challenging. And yet I don't think we will score points toward the WRC anyway, because we're not registered and our cars are actually not physically allowed in the WRC. According to the route we did in the Equator Rally, it's just as challenging. It's going to be quite interesting to see how the modern generation of WRC drivers also put up with this, because none of them have also done the Safari Rally itself.
Chaga will be returning incidentally on his 8th year under Cabra Sugar Racing Reverie, with over 2 decades since his last World Rally Championship in 1998. In the Kenya Premier League, Nairobi City Stars put a sprint performance, thrashing 10-man Sofapaka 3-0 at the Ruaraka complex last evening to register their first Kenya Premier League win since the restart of the action. an early penalty from Peter Pinches, and a goal apiece from Salim Shitu Abdallah and Davis Angetha gave City Stars the maximum points in a dramatic Monday afternoon encounter. City Stars midfielder Seven Yinda was also sent off 10 minutes to time for a second yellow card. This was a second consecutive defeat for 2009 champions, who saw their charges for the title take a blow, having lost a home match against Gor Mahia last week. The win propelled City Stars to number 10 with 20 points, a place above the 2009 champions, who were 3 places above them before the clash. And Germany has confirmed Hansi Flick will replace Joachim Löw as the head coach after this summer's European Championship. Flick, who will in turn be replaced by Julian Nagelsmann at the Bayern Munich, was once of Löw's assistant during the victorious World Cup campaign in 2014. Flick became Bayern Munich's boss in November 2017 and won 2 Bundesliga titles and the 2019-2020 Champions League, as well as other 4 trophies. Flick will now look to guide Germany to victory on home soil when they host the European Championship in 2024. And finally, Croatian international Luka Modric will complete a decade of service at Real Madrid after the Croatian international signed a new 1-year contract which will run until the 30th of June 2022. Modric was due to be a free agent this summer, but is now set to continue playing a key role in the heart of the Santiago Bernabeu outfit in the midfield for another 12 months. Modric, who will be turning 36-year-old next September, might be facing his last contract at the Real Madrid, although his performance and importance for the team during the 2020-2021 season has made him a valuable asset. The midfielder signed for Real Madrid in summer 2012 and became an undisputed starter ever since Carlo Ancelotti took over the coach, winning the Ballon d'Or in 2018. That's your sports. I'm Joseph Maingi.
Well, we've now come to the end of our broadcast tonight. Many thanks for staying with us. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time. My name is Tonny Omondi and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. Have a good night and God bless.